The final thing I'd like to talk about is the Adobe Sign Workflow Designer. What this will allow you to do is to have a signature process that you use on a regular basis baked into a workflow. So a lot of the details, like perhaps the signers and the document that they will be signing, can be hard-coded into what we call a workflow to save you time for sending these out for signature. The Workflow Designer has 6 steps, and I'm just going to go through them now very quickly with you. Step number 1, the workflow info section, is where we give our workflow a name. Let's take the scenario perhaps of onboarding a candidate. And we can choose to have certain groups within my Adobe Sign account allowed to be able to see and use this workflow. So onboarding a candidate is not relevant to our sales team. So what we would do is simply choose who this workflow will be active for, and other teams simply won't see it in their account. Section number 2, we give our agreement a name. That can be hard-coded as well, and that's going to form the file name of the signed document that comes back as well. So it might be a prompt in here perhaps to put in a certain candidate number if we're using the onboarding scenario. The message to that candidate as well, maybe congratulations on your new role. This can be hard-coded into the workflow as well, so your HR candidate talent manager will not have to type this every time. It's section 3 though, the recipients part, is where the Workflow Designer really comes into its own. And what we can have here is support for a nice graphical interface to show exactly how our document will flow through the process. We've got support for multiple branches as well, which is a combination of in order and in any order. And what we get is a nice family tree style diagram here that will tell you where your document will be throughout the process, when it is getting approval maybe after you've onboarded your candidate. We've got support for all of the roles as well. We also have support for the identity authentication pieces just by checking the box as well if we needed to prove that identity of our candidate perhaps. Section number 4 is where we can choose who receives what email notification. So if you're sending these for signature on a regular basis, your email inbox may very well get clogged up. So we can turn off the notification that tells you that you have started an agreement. The next section is where, of course, we specify the documents. If you're sending an onboarding pack out to a candidate, we can have multiple different documents here, and choosing the order of them can be done on this screen as well. We also have the support for documents that are not required. And the person triggering this workflow can decide whether or not they want to include that specific document in this pack. Finally, the last section is called the Sender Input Fields section. And this will allow you to merge data into an agreement. And if we add fields here, like perhaps the candidate's first name, we can have that data merged into a document. Perhaps if you're sending out a welcome letter, the candidate's name from what you type in here in the sender input field will be merged into our document for you. So what I've shown there is the Adobe Sign Workflow Designer, and what this will allow you to do is to create powerful workflows for your teams that will save time and effort when sending for signature documents that you do on a regular basis.